Last year, Sandy Alcantara officially solidified himself as one of baseball's best and most efficient starting pitchers. Maybe the best and most efficient starting pitcher. He was that dominant. Sandy had been good every year he'd been up in the majors up until 2022, but 2022 in itself was as masterful as it gets. He made 32 starts, pitched the most innings in baseball with over 228 of them, struck out 207 hitters, pitched 6 complete games, meaning he went all 9 innings 6 times. You do that once nowadays and you're hailed a hero. He did it 6 times, with one of them being a complete game shutout. His ERA to finish the year was 2.28, and with that, Sandy Alcantara was named your 2022 National League Cy Young Award winner. Thankfully. With those numbers, it would have been treason if he did not win the award. So Sandy, of course, is the man atop the Marlins starting rotation heading into 2023, and he'd pick up right where he left off to start the new season. On opening day, he wasn't the best and struggled a bit with command by walking 4 Mets hitters, but did gut out a good enough start to keep his team in the ballgame, and then in his second start, it was deja vu from last year, as Sandy would go the distance, throwing a 9-inning complete game 3-hit shutout against the Minnesota Twins. I mean, he just won the Cy Young Award partly because he threw 6 complete games, and now it just took him 2 starts to do it again? The league is done for. Well, skip ahead to today, and Sandy Alcantara is statistically one of the worst pitchers in baseball this year, giving up several runs to the worst team in baseball. How in the hell did we get here? If you're part of the 70% not subscribed watching this video, make sure to hit that button. Thank you. Well, it began in his 3rd start of the year, the one after the complete game shutout, where Sandy gave up 9 runs on 10 hits, one which was a home run to the Phillies. It was ugly, but hey, even the best of the best have their terrible days out there. His next few starts were not that bad, as the most Sandy would give up in the next 3 outings was 3 runs, but he wasn't going as deep into ball games. The pitch count was getting up there early, it just wasn't vintage Sandy. But on May 7th against the Cubs at Wrigley Field, vintage Sandy appeared to be back, pitching into the 9th inning and allowing just a couple of runs, striking out 9 hitters and walking nobody in a no-decision win for the Marlins. Phew, scared us all there for a second. Was beginning to think Sandy wasn't going to be good, and no, he's struggling again. If I told you Sandy Alcantara pitched into the 8th inning his next start while striking out 9, you'd think he did great. That is until I tell you he gave up 6 runs on 7 hits against the Reds, one which left the yard. The Marlins then went out west, where Sandy would get a couple of starts against the Giants and Rockies, and he wasn't really as good in those. He'd give up 4 runs to the Giants in 5 2/3 innings on 5 hits while also walking 3, and he was better against the Rockies, allowing just 2 runs, but did struggle yet again with the walks, as he'd walk 3 more. If you thought the walks were bad now, though, it somehow gets worse. In his next start, this time at home against the Padres, Sandy Alcantara walked 5 hitters, gave up 5 hits and 4 runs in 6 1/3 innings. Now, you can't send Sandy down to the minor leagues. He's too good for this, and you gotta ride it out and have trust and faith that he'll figure it out. That doesn't mean a start against a AAA team wouldn't help, but thankfully, Sandy wouldn't have to go anywhere to face a AAA team because the Oakland A's were coming to town this weekend. And after taking the first 2 games, the Marlins would hand the ball off to Sandy to get the sweep. And this outing is what prompted me to make this video and talk about how bad Alcantara's been. Guys have rough stretches, it happens, but after what we've seen so far, added on to what happened in Sandy's latest start against the worst team in baseball, there's something wrong, obviously. In his latest outing against the Oakland A's at home, Sandy improved on one thing: the walks. He didn't walk a single hitter through 7 innings. That's a great sign, but what isn't a great sign is him giving up 5 runs on 6 hits, with the 5th run coming home on just a brain-dead play and brain-dead throw by Sandy trying to throw out the runner going to 3rd. All of these runs came through in the first 3 innings, so he'd of course settle down after that as he was able to finish 7, but yet another bad start by Alcantara to lift his ERA up to over 5 on the season, getting booed at one point by the fans at Lone Depot Park in Miami. Damn, and this whole time I was thinking Yankees fans only booed their players no matter what. I guess it really can be any team. Nobody's safe, even if there's about 12,000 fans in attendance, which was the amount of people there today to see the Marlins come back to beat the A's and sweep them despite the bad start by Alcantara. I would say Sandy's biggest issue and struggle right now is the walks, but he disputed that by walking nobody today and still gave up 5 runs. I do think Sandy's going to come back and be great. Reason number 1 being because he's Sandy Alcantara, he's too good. Reason number 2 is because some of his stats actually show he's been a little unlucky. His ERA is over 5, but his fielding independent pitching, which takes luck out of it, is around 4. Not trying to make any excuses for the guy, I just feel like he's too good to keep this up. But to get to a point where you're doing so bad that even Marlins fans are booing you, that's clearly a problem. I think it's a problem Sandy will fix, but he's been bad nonetheless. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.